The king who bore the sword, the black dragon, Daemon Blackfyre. But that was not always his name. Daemon was born a bastard in 170 AC. He was the illegitimate child of King Aegon IV Targaryen, who was otherwise known as the Unworthy, and his cousin, the former queen, Daena Targaryen. Daemon was born to the name of Daemon Waters, as he was a bastard in King's Landing. His mother, Daena, named him after her grandfather, the rogue prince Daemon Targaryen. Daena was married to King Baelor the Blessed Targaryen, and after she gave birth to Daemon, Baelor fasted for 40 days and nights, refusing to take anything but water and some bread. On the 41st day of his fast in 171 AC, the king collapsed and died. As Daemon was a Targaryen on both sides, he had all the hallmarks of his house. He had strong Targaryen features with deep purple eyes and silver gold hair, which he wore long, flowing down to his shoulders in a silvery gold mane. Daemon was raised in the Red Keep, and was taught arms by Sir Quintin Bell, the master-at-arms at King's Landing. It was said that Daemon was the master of every weapon. His whole life his mother taught him the true ways of court. During childhood, Daemon made a lot of friends and attracted the support of the greatest knights in the realm. In 182 AC, when he was 12 years old, Daemon participated in a squire's tourney, which he won. King Aegon IV Targaryen personally knighted Daemon and publicly bestowed the Targaryen Valyrian steel sword Blackfyre on him. There were some who felt that the sword symbolized the monarchy, as it had been the sword of King Aegon I Targaryen, the Conqueror, and had been passed on from king to king ever since. Aegon's public gift of the sword would eventually start the talk that Daemon should be king. Following the acquisition of the sword, Daemon took the name Blackfyre for himself and became Daemon Blackfyre. Not so long after, the Unworthy started spreading rumors that Daemon was his true heir because of his looks and martial prowess. He also stated that Daemon was the son of his former brother, the Dragon Knight. King Aegon IV negotiated a betrothal for Daemon to Rohanne of Tyrosh. Daemon's supporters would later claim that Daemon had desired to marry his younger half-sister Daenerys instead, and that King Aegon, who desired the marriage alliance to Tyrosh, had promised Daemon that he could have more than one wife. As Daemon approached manhood, he became very tall and powerful, with broad shoulders, muscular arms, and a flat stomach. He always went clean-shaven, with neither beard nor mustache. Almost inhumanly beautiful, Daemon looked every inch the warrior, and many thought that he strongly resembled portraits of Aegon the Conqueror. His armor was ornate and costly, all black and red plate, with his war helm was distinctive, with bat-like steel dragon wings on the sides. Daemon matured into a man of considerable charm and strength, mastering all weapons on the battlefield. But with the sword Blackfyre in his hand, he was said to fight like the warrior himself. He won friends easily, and women were drawn to him. In 184 AC, when King Aegon IV was on his deathbed, he legitimized all of his bastards. Those born to noblewomen, including Daemon, became known as the Great Bastards. By legitimizing all his bastards, Aegon gave his bastards the right to inherit like a true-born child. Daemon was still the eldest son, but now Aegon's bastards were also in line for the throne. Daemon's true-born half-brother, Daemon II Targaryen, ascended the throne following Aegon's death. He refused to allow Daemon more than one wife, pay dowry his late father had promised to the Archon of Tyrosh, and saw that Daemon wed Rohanne in 184 AC. He also granted Daemon a tract of land near the Blackwater on his wedding day, with the right to raise a castle. Daemon and Rohanne had a very fertile marriage. Their twin sons, Aegon and Aemon, were born later that year, and were followed by 5 more sons and 2 daughters. The influence of the Dornish at court was growing, and many whispered about the Dornish features of King Daemon II's heir. It seemed sudden how former enemies had turned into allies. Rumors planted long ago about King Aegon IV questioned Daemon's legitimacy, further stirring distrust. And then there was the matter of Blackfyre, the ancestral sword of kings given not to Daemon but to Daemon by Aegon IV himself. To some nobles and knights, Daemon and Baelor seemed less worthy of their loyalty. In Daemon they saw promise, a true king in their eyes. Men began to approach Daemon, but it took them many years to convince Daemon to declare his claim as king. It was likely that it had been Aegor Rivers, Daemon's younger half-brother, who had managed to convince Daemon in the end. Aegor pressed him to proclaim his claim for the Iron Throne, and after Daemon agreed to a betrothal between his eldest daughter, Calla, and Aegor, his efforts increased. Many lords and knights joined in. The First Blackfyre Rebellion finally broke out in 196 AC. It lasted nearly a year, and divided the 7 kingdoms. Daemon's decision to claim the Iron Throne had been made rashly, and word soon had reached Daemon's court that Daemon meant to declare. The King's Guard was sent to arrest Daemon, but, with the aid of the Master-at-Arms at King's Landing, Quentin Ball, Daemon managed to escape imprisonment. Daemon reversed the colors of House Targaryen, taking for his own sigil a black dragon on a red field, which led to his nickname, the Black Dragon, and Daemon becoming known as the Red Dragon. It is said that half the realm declared for Daemon, though this may have been an exaggeration, as none of the great houses did. And not all houses pledged their support. Notably, Houses Hightower, Butterwell, Oakheart, and Tarbeck gave their support to both sides, to Daemon and Daemon, while others were willing to betray Daemon for Daemon. Most of Daemon Blackfyre's core supporters were concentrated in the Reach and the Stormlands, primarily along the borders of Dorne. These lords resented the peace with Dorne and had a very strong anti-Martell sentiment. Daemon did manage to openly control enough territory that at some point he began minting his own coinage. Over the course of the war, battles were fought between the rebel and loyalists in the Vale, Westerlands, Riverlands, and the Reach. Quentin Ball, known as Fireball, attacked the Westerlands, killing Lord Leaford at the gates of Lannisport, and then defeating Lord Daemon Lannister in turn. At the crossing of Mandar, Quentin slew all of Lady Penrose's sons, except for the youngest, whom he spared as a favor to the lady. Lord Leo Tyrell participated in the First Blackfyre Rebellion as well, fighting behalf of House Targaryen. He won notable victories in the Reach against Daemon Blackfyre supporters. On the eve of the Red Grass Field, Fireball was slain in a chance encounter, picked off by a random archer when he stopped for a drink of water. Meanwhile, Lord Bracken had gone across the narrow sea to hire sellswords to reinforce the Blackfyres, but storms delayed the return of him and the merest crossbowmen he hired. The final conflict of the Blackfyre Rebellion was the Battle of the Red Grass Field in late 196 AC. As Daemon I Blackfyre's rebel army approached King's Landing itself, the two armies collided on the Red Grass Field. Lord Costane was on the left of Daemon's host, while Lord Shawnee was on the right side with Aegor Rivers, who is now known as Bittersteel. Lord Leo Tyrell, one of Daemon's most powerful supporters, did not arrive in time for the decisive battle. Daemon was unstoppable that day, cutting down Lord Donal Arryn's vanguard to pieces, slaying Will Waynwood and the Knight of the Nine Stars, before coming upon Sir Gawain Corbury of the King's Guard. A famous fight took place between the two with their Valyrian steel swords, Daemon wielding Blackfyre and Gawain using Lady Forlin. Daemon managed to severely injure Gwaine, leaving him blind and bleeding. But Daemon, ordered Red Dusk to carry Gwaine back to the maesters in the rear to make sure no more injury came to Sir Gwaine. By that time, Brynden Rivers, known as Bloodraven, and his company, the Raven's Teeth, crept the Weeping Ridge, gaining the high ground from where he showered Daemon's position with arrows. Bloodraven spied Daemon's banner, and slew the elder of Daemon's twin sons, Aegon Blackfyre. Knowing Daemon would never leave his son on the field, he then pierced Daemon with 7 shafts, killing him. The younger twin, Aemon Blackfyre, picked up the sword when his father fell, and Bloodraven slew him too. It is suggested that the Red Grass Field was a very close battle, and if Daemon had not stopped to save Sir Gwaine, he might have broken Maekar's left before Bloodraven had gained the ridge and Baelor arrived. Then, with the hand slain and the road to King's Landing open, Daemon would have had little opposition. But, with Daemon now dead, the rebels began to rout. Aegor Rivers claimed Blackfyre and rallied the rebels by leading the charge against the Raven's Teeth, but he was eventually forced to flee. He took Daemon's widow and remaining children with him to the Free Cities, eventually ending up in Tyrosh. In exile, Daemon's descendants continued their struggle for the Iron Throne, resulting in 4 more rebellions, the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th Blackfyre Rebellion, as well as the War of the Ninepenny Kings. There was also one peaceful attempt during the Great Council of 233 AC. These rebellions led to the arrest of Daemon's 3rd son, Daemon II Blackfyre, and the death of his 4th and 5th sons, Haegon and Aenys, as well as the death of his grandson, also named Daemon. Daemon's last descendant was Meleys the Monstrous, who was slain during the War of the Ninepenny Kings by Sir Barristan the Bold, ending the Blackfyre threat after 64 years. Well, that is at least for now.